Under moonlight glow, the vibe is tight. Gem and Dame on the mic till the break of night. We bring the heat while the city's asleep. News so deep, it'll make your soul weep. Late night trip, come and take a sip. Odd squads here, let your thoughts flip. We break it down, what it means to you. Suburb fam is the thing to do. Late night trip, come and take a sip. Odd squads here, let your thoughts flip. We break it down, what it means to you. Suburb fam is the thing to do. West Coast breeze runs through the sound. We live the stories that shake the ground. Catch the whispers, the truth untold. Stay locked in while the night unfolds. Gem brings the fire, Dame lays it smooth. Together they groove with the latest moves. Odd squad rolling, we in the zone. Tune in fam, you're never alone. Late night trip, come and take a sip. All squads here, let your thoughts flip. We break it down, what it means to you. Suburb fam is the thing to do.
Sliding through the static glow. Gem and Dame got the flow. News that hits you in the soul. What it means to you, you should know. I squad, leaning close. Late night crew, raise a toast. Drip, drip, our daily drip. Tune in, don't let it slip. What's the word? What's the vibe? This is your show. Come feel alive.
Raindrops falling like life's endless speed. In the street we move with swagger on repeat. Neon lights reflecting on the wet concrete. In this daily drip shows hypnotic heat. Every step we take, synchronized and bold. Underneath the storm, our stories unfold. In the city glow, our fashion never old. We drip in style, conquer hearts uncontrolled. Watch us move, watch us glide. Through the rain and the night we slide. Drip too strong, you can't hide. Join the show, let's ride this tide.
Day starts, hazy coffee, steam in the air. Gem Jones on the mic, Dame pulling the chair. Late nights of sunshine, we keep it so slick. Daily trip for your mind, come and take your pick. Turn the dial, catch the vibe, it's the news you can use. Gem and Dame breaking frames, giving life to your views. Heavy bassline in your chest, strap hats in your ear. Our daily drips to fix the moment you wanna hear.
Gem got the gems, Dame spitting the flame. Knowledge wrapped in rhythm, never sounding the same. Midday grooves or nightcap views. We the show you bump while you're chasing the clues. Scroll the feed, hit the like, hit the sub, don't trip. This the wave, this the flow, this the daily drip. Elevate your mind state, no cap, just facts. Gem and Dame got the game, no room for the lack.
Turn the dial, Catch the vibe, it's the news you can use. Gem and Dame, breaking frames, giving life to your views. Heavy bassline in your chest, trap hats in your ear. Our daily drips to fix the moment you wanna hear. Late night whispers or daytime grind. We serve the culture with a beat and a rhyme. You play.
Raindrops fall on city pavement, washing secrets in the dark. Daily drip, the crowd's amazement. Knowledge streaming comes to spark. Thunder in the nighttime sky.
Get them ready. What up? What up? What's going on? What's going on? This is your illustrious producer, Cassius Payas. Welcome, our squad. And I would like to bring in the none other than everybody that we love deep inside. Like and subscribe. Make sure you follow, because we live. Let's bring in Jim Jones. Bring her on in. Ooh-wee.
Jones, I'm in the building. So happy to be here. Thank you for hopping on our daily drip show. Happy that all of y'all have came through. Very, very much. All right, so let me make sure I can go ahead and be seen on here because y'all can't see me. And that is not good. But all right, so this
let me do what I do.
Okay, well, I'm Jim Jones. I am the solo host today. Plain Dame is probably gonna come back in more often in about a couple weeks. Yeah, like maybe like 2 weeks. 2 weeks he'll be in. So if you came looking for him, you got me. And today we're not doing a talk techie to me. We're not going to be doing a talk techie. Wow, this looks really, really different. Okay, so we're not going to be doing a talk techie with me today. We're going to actually do a little more of the news. But before I get into any of that, make sure y'all hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And drop some drip in the comments. Let me know where y'all at, where you from. You got a comment, let me know, because this is not just necessarily a one way. Definitely want to hear y'all thoughts. So please go ahead and drop that. So as you can see, what's in your cup? I forgot to do that last week, so I'm definitely gonna start. I am drinking some coffee this late night drip. So y'all will see me drinking my coffee quite a bit tonight. So thank y'all for dripping with me. Drop some drip in the comments. Let me know what y'all are drinking. Along with me to the ride before I get into the people's briefing, I have Cassius Pay, my awesome producer who did not have me flying solo tonight. So thank you for hopping on and riding along with me, Cassius Pay. Really? Okay. And for y'all, thank y'all for hopping on because y'all are the odd squad. Very much so. And we intend to have some merch coming through soon. If you're interested, drop some drip in the comments. Let me know what kind of merch y'all are into. I have some ideas of what I want, but want to hear y'all's thoughts. Additional to y'all's thoughts, check out the community tab. All right, let's go ahead. Let's hop into this. So I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but there has been a push lately about kind of being classy. Okay, so I'm going to give you an instance, then I'm going to go ahead and talk about this article more so. I know y'all heard about them quarter zips and matchas. Y'all heard about them quarter zips and matchas. So there's been a big shift in like what was that, Gen Alpha? Like the very younger guys where they used to wear, I think they're called like Nike Techs, basically the zip ups that like athletes wear, and everybody was wearing them even though they're not athletes, but whatever. I don't think that's been anything new. I know back in the 90s, everybody used to wear those windbreakers. Y'all know y'all had them windbreakers back in the 90s. Well, none of y'all out there hooping like that, them windbreakers on. But Instead, they're changing the culture to these quarter zips that look a little more like I have an internship, I have a job kind of attire. And I would equate that to being more classy. Okay. So, with being more classy, there has been conversation from the transportation department that's urging people to dress with respect on flights. And they believe that it will improve air travel. Drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think that the way you dress will improve behavior? Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what they seem to think about that. All right. So, in this article, it is from CBS News. The Department of Transportation has a campaign that, with respect, like saying please and thank you to attendants, which is wild that people are not saying that, but maybe they haven't. I'll get into my thoughts in a minute. So there's apparently a new plan called the Golden Age of Travel Starts With You for a nationwide conversation about how we all restore courtesy and class to air travel. I don't know if they have that image in here, but there was an image. I will share it in the comments. But back in the day, like back when they used to be able to smoke like a whole cigar on the plane, and you can smoke on the plane. You know, they used to get dressed like very dressed up to fly. However, there was a level of class associated with that too. And so uh, the real question is, do we think that can dressing better improve economy class? Travel experts are skeptical that it will have meaningful change with people doing it. So I'll drop this. I'll drop this link in the description for y'all so y'all can take a look. But I'm curious to know what y'all think. Y'all think that people dressing up is gonna make their behavior better? Uh, here's my thing. Couple things. Number one, let's talk about the historic, right? I can't. I will put that article in there as well. But in one of the other articles that I saw, he referenced back, like I said, back when they could smoke on the plane. Everybody's dressed up to the T, you know, all super nice, like business class looking, even in economy. There's a level of classism in that too, right? Like everybody couldn't fly back then. When I say everybody couldn't fly, like everybody could not afford to fly. Like it was so expensive to fly that you had to make X amount of dollars or have some level of reason to get your butt on the plane. If you ask maybe the boomers, I would say, but definitely the silent generation. But if you ask the boomers when they were a kid, how often did they fly? We got any boomers here? Let us know how often y'all fly. Because I know that for
Should I pretend
my
to be
people,
a boomer? Because it wasn't that long ago.
I'm just saying somebody might be here that's a boomer that can attest to like when
I
they
mean,
were
I
kids,
was
y'all ever
alive
fly?
before we had to do all of them screenings and stuff to get on planes. And you used to be able to take small prop planes from smaller airports and do, connecting flight to connecting flight, and you be in like a 3-seater, 4-seater plane. And you be looking at the pilot, you be sitting there, you can touch him on the back and shit. It's just like, yo, dog, you going too fast on this. Like, huh?
I'm just saying, like they're sitting here talking about like oh, everybody needs to get dressed up. Like I understand about the respecting. There's a few things in play here. When that was happening, the people who could afford to be on the plane, it hit different. The way it probably costs about the same, to be honest with you. Like we all paying top tier prices to fly. I don't care. Nobody say we can argue about it, but I'm sure it still costs just as much to fly, especially if you want to do first class, which what you just described is pretty similar to like the first class experience. That ain't no economy experience. Like you're not in the back next to the poop train.
It's just a cultural thing it became because at that same token, I took the same direction that I went to. I went to a couple places that was like in the Midwest and then went far out. And I took a Greyhound the other time. I was like, yeah, I can get on the bus, you know what I'm saying? But then I was on that bus, boy, and it'd be some other things on that bus. It'd be people who fresh out on the bus. It'd be, I love my Mennonites, but I mean, they don't believe in deodorant sometimes, boy. And it was just one of them days. I had to put my mouth by the vent like it was a respirator because I'd be damn. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, I mean, like, So,
I never went on the bus again after that. I was like, ugh.
oh yeah, I think it only takes the one time. The one
yeah.
time.
So
Yeah.
I digress. I let you be.
I ain't never took no Greyhounds, but that's not an experience that I want. Quick story, real quick. My family and I went to New Orleans for a wedding, and I have a sibling that's a lot older than me. And at the time, he was like new grown. Like, y'all know what I mean by new grown. Like they in their 20s, right? But he rode with us. Now, like I said about the flying, we ain't fly there. We drove there. We drove everywhere. We were not of those people who had a bunch of money to take all of them kids, and there's quite a few of us to go on a flight. So we drove, right? And he started smelling himself a little bit on this trip.
Oh, not like the men, not like my Greyhound.
No, like he had a little attitude problem, so he decided he was gonna go home early. My dude got on a Greyhound bus. But listen, he got home like maybe a couple hours before we did, and we stayed like 2 extra. All you had to do was just chill. Anyways, all you had to do was just chill. So my young people, sometimes just chill.
I'm just gonna say
just
on that
chill.
bus, he
learned
probably
a lesson.
next to some unsavory.
I ain't never heard him talk about he ever took the bus again. Never. So let's talk about let's go ahead and we'll wrap this part up. I personally don't know if it will make it more classy. I don't think that people I don't know if it's gonna I don't think that people dress to just be quote bummy on the plane. Like I think they just dress to be comfortable on the plane. Like most people, I don't care. There's always people abusing something. There's always someone taking something over here or over there. We can agree to that. But I think in the middle, most people just want to be comfy. That's why they're wearing sweatpants. That's why they're wearing the flip-flops because of TSA, and you got to go through all that. Like,
let's talk about this though. There's different levels of sweatpants. We got, the sweatpants that we know and love, like ones that's made to go outside, and then we got the sweatpants that's, the ones where I'm just gonna say like the booty be like having the pants like up and high up in them because the sweatpants is paper thin. Like people be trying to go to work in kind of sweatpants and stuff. Was the rainbow sweatpants?
You talking about the women?
I'm just saying it stank. Like you can't just come straight up out of the bed and think you're gonna hop on somebody's plane and then go to the bathroom when you land where you land at and think you're gonna take that. My aunt used to call it a horse bath, right?
Oh my goodness! Oh my!
Where you hit the 5 hot spots. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, the pits.
Okay, so hygiene is a whole other conversation. Hygiene is a whole other conversation. They just talk about how you dress and how you speak. I got sick. So Boiled Peanut Gallery got stuck next to a Rasta brother on a 13-hour bus ride. Bus smelled like rotten peas and rice. Oh my goodness! But you made it. But you made it though, right?
Man. He know what I'm talking about. You gotta get just get that window seat. Get your mouth. Just don't put it on there. Just put it right next to the vent.
Goodness.
When that air come out, you pretend like you sleep, but you hold that hand next to that. You just gotta try.
I mean, but once again, and we can go to the next time. But once again, like, do I think this is a good movement? I understand where they're going with this, but you equating clothes to manners. Like really you ask about manners, like please and thank you. You can dress up whatever you want and they can still be a nasty person. What you gonna do? They midair, they not gonna say thank you. You gonna throw them out the plane? What you about to do? Oh, when they get off, you go call the marshal to come. You can't come on the plane. Well, you didn't say thank you to the flight attendant. Like, let's also just be a little bit realistic about it. You didn't have heels on. That lady got 7 kids with her. She ain't taking no heels with her.
You talking about access though? That's really what we talking about. Like taking
they don't want to say that, but that's all this is about. Is like
that's
establishing a level of classism in there. It's not about you wearing sweatpants to be comfortable. It's about you should be able to afford to live and dress like this and quote act like this. Which let me go ahead and say on record: just because you got a couple of dollars, don't mean you got manners or no sense.
That's true.
You can very well be
like
a butthole.
Talking about access, people Klarna and PayPal and what's the other one? Affirming all kind of travel
And credit
everything.
card. It ain't no different than a credit
Right.
card.
And yeah, ain't no different. But for
Yeah.
people who can't get credit cards, you can get that. You know what I'm saying? And it's still it's accessible. And people gonna wear bonnets. They gonna wear.
And they need to just go ahead and say that's really the issue. And to respond to Boiled Peanut Gallery, I drop some drip. You ever take a bus ride again after that?
Yeah, I want to know that.
I want to know that. Let me know. You ever take
That
another
stopped
bus
me.
ride?
I had 3. I had one going through Chicago one time, and I got caught up with a chick, and she was about to try to pimp me because I was almost in love. You know what I'm saying? I was young. I was dumb. I wasn't ready yet. But now I'm back and I'm better. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so if airlines won't stop nickel and diming us, maybe the government will. Y'all know we back to talk about them tariffs, baby. Y'all know we back. We back. Okay, so tariffs. Now we've talked about tariffs before, and more recently, them tariffs been scaled back. So let's hear what we got. Got a nice young lady discussing here. So let me know if you can't hear this.
Everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and here's something to keep on your radar. The administration just announced food tariff cuts, and they're pitching it as a big move to lower prices. But here's the catch. A lot of these products, like tomatoes and half of our beef imports, already come into the US duty-free under the USMCA. So either the administration doesn't realize this, or they're hoping that consumers don't. And what's missing entirely from the announcement? The real driver of high food prices: corporate concentration suffering agriculture supply chains. For more, check out Katie Hatinga's.
So what she's saying though is the administration's taking the credit when that's not necessarily true. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on tariffs, but just drop some drip in the comments. Y'all think that they are taking credit for something that they should not be? Do you think that there's more to it than that? I'll give my 2 cents and then oh, Boiled Peanut Gallery. This is Joe. Hey Joe. Oh, okay, cool. That's Joe. Okay, shout out to Joe. So let's talk about the tariffs for a second. People have been saying, hey, food prices killing me. Do something about that, or you are out of here. Well, at first, after the tariffs, the basically announcement was, oh, well, we're gonna give a tariffs check to people. We're looking at $2,000. Y'all just hang in there. So okay. Then that voting happened, and then they was back there like, listen, we're gonna have to ease up off something because these people need to eat. Now, drop some drip in the comments. There are basic levels of human needs. Food is one of those. Food, water. Those are top tier. Food, water, shelter. And right now, we're not doing good on any 3 of them. Water, let's talk about real quick before we go to the next thing, or drop some drip if y'all want me to talk more about it. Water, data centers, kind of taking those up. And that's a whole thing too. We talked a little bit about it before, but we will get back into that very soon. So stay tuned for that. But water, data centers, boom. Okay, so let's talk about shelter. Well, housing market, not doing the greatest right now. There are a ton of sellers, not a ton of buyers. Buyers are kind of looking like, y'all charge a lot for these houses. I'm not sure I want to pay for that. Interest rates are dropping. Yeah, but that costs like $1 million. It's going to be a no for me. And then let's talk about food. I can't even remember how long it's been. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Eggs were like, at some point, what, $14 or $12 on the Joe Biden or something like that? It was crazy. Like, I remember going to the store and it was like a sign that says like, you can't take more than 2 eggs. I'm like, damn, how many eggs y'all be eating? What kind of bodybuilder coming in there buying all the eggs at once? Like, oh, they ready to fight. People was waiting.
Damn, them eggs was like $16, $18 a piece anyway.
Yeah, so like, I mean, they were high under Biden. And that's just eggs, right? And the bird, the chicken situation happened and all that, and things were high, right? But then Trump ran like, listen, I'm gonna get them grocery bills down. And people are like, yes, okay. At least food and water are cool, but it's not. And so because of that, to me, some had to be done. So we're gonna keep an eye on this, but I suspect that we're gonna see more and more rollbacks of this and different things because money is important because people need things. Of those are the 3 basic needs. And right now we ain't doing very good at any of those. Y'all drop some drip if I'm wrong. What you got, Cash Spade?
I'll put in a little bit on those 3 things that you talk about when it comes to data centers. You talked about food first. So when you talk about food, to me, I think about land use, right? So the large data centers, they often get sited on cheap rural or fringe land, right? So converting that farmland into open space, or converting that open space into industrial sites, which can reduce the local food production and strain agricultural economy. So that's the main thing. So the food becomes more scarce. You're going to have less of your local farmers being able to do that because they're going to sell. Farmers are getting older. It's not like it's an opportunity that a lot of younger people are taking on. It's getting harder and harder for people to pass that type of work down.
Yeah, like when they have so-and-so and sons and like they would teach them the farm. You want me to add on my part to that? Like,
yeah, you can go ahead.
So I'll give you all an example. When I went to school with some kids that were actually like kids of farmers. I remember there was 2 groups. You got the kids who their parents were farmers and they are going to be farmers. I'm talking about wearing the overalls. I've seen a kid drive a tractor to school. Like I'm not joking. You got them kids. Then you got the kids over here who come from a couple dollars because of the farm or because of some kind of like expansion of a farming company, but they are not continuing it for various reasons. Few of these various reasons are, number one, they not going in, learning the business. They over here doing stuff the family don't condone. They don't get along with said person who created the business. Now, remind you, kids over here, the ones that
a
are
lot
over
of
there,
infighting
out there,
can happen when
and like so that's this group over here. That's the one you talking about. That's the one that dies and they sell it and say I'm done with it. But the ones over here, some of them are those farmers that are saying like these subsidies and stuff are like killing us. And think about it, if like their grandparents, their great grandparents always had this land. And think about it, you went through your whole school. I can think of this one kid, he wore overalls every day. And I like now in hindsight, I know why he was so damn tired. I'm like, dang man, why you so damn tired? He looking at me like, he never got to play sports, nor would he probably want to because he basically is doing a sport. But those are the ones that are continuing the business. Of all the kids who could have been, if we had these, there are far less of these and way more the ones not running the business. So I'm just saying from anecdotal evidence, I agree with the sentiment that you're saying because I understand how this happens where you're not going to take it over, but for somebody who didn't come from like a family gave me business and all that stuff, that's wild. But whatever. Go ahead, you continue.
All right. So next thing we're gonna take on is water, right? When it comes to data centers,
killing it.
We use hundreds to thousands to millions of gallons of fresh water. Fresh water, not reused, not reclaimed. Fresh water per day for cooling. Directly competing with farms and households in water-stressed regions. So think of California, think of Arizona, Texas is going to probably have a bunch of growth in data centers. But don't count out your Midwest areas. Why? Because for disaster recovery reasons. So it'll be palatable to have data centers in Ohio, up in the mountains, West Virginia, you know what I'm saying? All of that, because it's just easier to probably get away with it. To be honest, I'm just going to keep it all the way real.
Less regulation in some of those places, yeah. Especially like Mounties.
Probably get tax incentives. Like I might not have to pay taxes just because you want to have that quote unquote industry there, but it's not doing anything.
Plus it's just cheap.
Our word in the space. Yeah, the water stress regions, and it actually just worsens local drought risk. And then last thing I'll get into is the shelter part that you talked about. So that's energy and land pressure on communities. Massive power demand from data centers It stresses like the local grids, right? It's driving up the infrastructure costs, and while land and tax incentives for these facilities can crowd out or reshape housing development altogether, it contributes to that. We'll call it unaffordability. I know I just made up a word, but I don't care.
I don't
And
know. That might be a real word.
maybe, but it really conflicts with what we say that we want for communities, right? Everybody talk about how housing costs are shooting up. It's really affordable housing costs are shooting up because just like everybody wants to make the most souped up vehicles, that's what got Stellantis in trouble because they want to make the top of the line model of all their Grand Wagoneers, make these
Man, that's
$140,000
some
cars.
crazy stuff, boy.
you
I've owned a
pricing
Jeep.
out
There is
people that-
zero way I would ever pay $150,000 for no car. That's
Well,
a
now, no
whole
Wagoneer.
house. That's
I mean,
insane.
you can get an actual like a supercar for that amount almost.
You can
But
get a whole house in the Midwest for $150,000. You could have
you
bought
get
you
two.
a whole
You get two
crib.
houses.
And you could have got you a duplex and made some money on the side. Like, what you doing? Now, I don't know about the best neighborhood, but you could do it. I don't know about that.
It's gonna be far out where them data centers at. But yeah. So I mean, I talked about the shelter, talked about the water, talked about the food. So I appreciate you listening.
No, we appreciate you adding into that. So we're gonna go ahead and get off of tariffs. And so while they're slashing tariffs, right? Apparently they're about to be sliced into your retirement plans as well, slightly. Kind of, it's kind of better, kind of not. So let's talk about 401ks and IRAs real quick. I know we touched on this before because we talked about Gen X. Y'all ready to retire? Well, this is more so for Gen X, I guess a little bit for the millennials and boomers. If you looking at this, then this is very scary because you in danger, you behind. This is a wake-up call for you because you should already be doing this. So there has been some improvements in the taxes, and I'm trying to figure out where did it go. It's not here. Where is this at? Why did it disappear? Oh, there we go. Okay, good. All right, so he's gonna give a tip. This is Mark J. Kohler. This did not come from me. I'm not your tax advisor, and I don't know nothing about none of that. I'm just listening to this guy too.
You can have a solo 401k. You can do your own 401k and still have a 401k at work. You can have both. Now, this year, if you're under age 50, I can put another $23,000 into that 401k. That's a couple grand a month. Now, if your business is doing well and you're like, okay, can I do enough to put away my IRA, $500 a month, and then another couple grand if I really bring on that other client or that other project or that other revenue stream and plow that away in 20 years, you got $2 million tax-free.
Okay, so real quick, let's add into this. So he's given perspective into how you can put money in for retirement in two ways. What he just said was that there's a way you can do it on your personal side. There's a way you can do it on the business side, which if you don't have a business, don't have an intentions of having a business, then maybe think about what he's saying and how this may or may not benefit you. But hey, some information that you can look into further if you're
If I don't have my retirement set up, this I almost called him. This dude talking about 2 401ks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess if you're talking about Gen X, then hopefully they've already gone through that cycle of paying off or close to paying off their home and can put more money into those types of mechanisms in order for it to make sense. But chances are, if you don't got one 401k, you for damn sure ain't gonna have two.
Well, I didn't know
But
you
let's
could
keep
have.
going.
I didn't know you could have a solo 401k and a work 401k, like
Yeah,
401k.
you can have your
related.
own IRA.
Well, I actually didn't know like the business part that you could have too like that. But once again, like Gen X, if you don't have this, because we talked about, are you ready to retire? Right? It's not over for Gen X, right? They're still actively working. But millennials, heads up for you, and Gen Z, you definitely have a very high chance, and Gen Alpha, you have a high chance of utilizing stuff like this. So yeah, let me go ahead and continue it.
This is the combo. This is what the rich do. They take the Roth, they take the 401k, they pick and choose. And then when you have a good year, bam, you throw down on both. Now, if you're over age 50, this year you can do $30,500 on top of the IRA. So that's $38,500. If I do that for 15 years, I've got $1.5 million. If you have
That's
Nah.
straight up though, because that's after tax. So like IRAs are like is post-tax dollars. 401ks, when you take it out, just know that Uncle Sam about to take something out too. And you putting it back in.
I know that
Taking it
having
out and putting it back in.
Okay. So I know
Take that. It's still a thing.
I
Pregnant.
know I know that for a lot of people though, like a 401k, like you said, is a struggle in itself. I also want to just bring to the forefront, there's a lot of people who either don't know about this or they think that everybody's unable to put money into stuff like that. Like, but there's obviously enough people who are knowledgeable about that he felt that he can make content to reach enough people. So if you are not doing this, if you do not have a retirement fund, you're not thinking about one, I urge you to consider reaching out to a tax advisor or start researching on your own of how you can save for retirement, because someone would not make something like that if it wasn't an audience for it, meaning that people are able to do that.
At minimum, get your own brokerage account and start putting some form of money in the market. That's the only non-advice that I'm gonna give.
I'm just saying, like, people will be like, oh, well, like, that's just for the super rich people. Well, here's the thing. If the super rich people are the top, let's say top 3%, that man just made content to make money that obviously it has to be more than the top 3%. So all I'm saying for you is, if you do not have a retirement and you see how things are going, and you see how, you know, when they start talking about cutting that Medicaid, baby, start cutting that Social Security. If they were to do that, you gonna be all right to a degree? Do you have enough to be able to go to the grocery store? If you do invest in stuff, like, not that you have to have 1.5 million, right? But if you put something, like, I think is Joe, right? Joe has said he's putting in a 401k in 2 hours. Now I don't know his pockets. He might be rich. I don't know. But,
or just living well below his means.
But he could be living within his means. And he could also, you know, be putting in, like I'm saying, like, just he ain't telling us how much he putting in there, but he's doing something.
Well, max out is technically when you maxing out, then you maxing out. Unless he's got a company that is matching. So, like, you know, some companies, they match up to, I've seen companies match from 1%, which is kind of on the low end. But you have companies that usually match up to 4% and some that do 10%. And
I worked for a company before, I think, that did 2% in my earlier years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I think I went up to 6 is the highest percent match I think I've ever experienced.
And if you work for a company that does that, or check your benefits package, if you haven't taken advantage of it, you throwing away free money. I'm just gonna tell you, because that 2% or that 4%, you was already gonna get taxed on that anyway. So you might as well put it in pre-tax dollars so that your adjusted gross income is less. Now, this is not financial advice, but I'm just saying, if I was you, and we are each other, that we should take advantage of them pre-tax dollars. That's all I'm saying. But back to 3 reasons why Gen X might be all messed up when it comes to this retirement thing. Number one, inadequate savings and late starts, because that's what typically happens, right? Typical Gen X household is relatively low on retirement balances, probably around tens of thousands of dollars. So you might got 20,000 saved up for retirement. We already know they ain't gonna do a damn thing. A majority report being behind significantly, and by significantly I mean significantly. in their savings versus what they will often need, which is around 1.5 million, like Homeboy said.
Hmm.
So you lose what's called that compounding effect over years, especially when we have so many recessions, job disruptions, and not prioritizing retirement, especially in your 30s. And if not in your 30s, for damn sure in your 40s, you better start that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause you real quick. Actually, Joe just put some. Always do the minimum contribution to receive max company match. Hashtag not financial advice, but he said it, not us. Just want to throw that out there. That's just an option I suppose you could do, but that's
No,
true.
always at least do what they matching on. If they're matching, at least do what they're matching on,
Because
because
it's
you
gonna be
throwing it
more than
away.
what you had. Yeah.
You throwing it away. And if you in a bind, Nate, sometimes you can take a loan out against it. Just make sure you pay it back, please. Please pay it back. And you can also use it for like homes. I don't know when people gonna be looking at this. The rules might change where you might not be able to use it
This
for
is
a
just
house and all
yeah.
that.
For now in 2026,
But these
they're
are
trying to open
tools
up
that you
these.
could use.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in your 30s and 40s, debt is gonna be the next thing, right? Debt inflation in the sandwich we're gonna call debt and inflation is for damn sure a sandwich. So Gen X carries some of the highest consumer and credit card debt while also juggling college costs for kids, housing, and sometimes care for aging parents, leaving less cash to invest. High inflation and rising healthcare costs also squeeze budgets even further. So day-to-day expenses crowd out that long-term savings. Yeah, he mad as shit. So you gotta take care of my mama. And then my kid talking about some, Daddy, I need $500. $500? Not Hillary Banks. Not for damn sure ain't Uncle Phil.
Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, it's expensive to take care of people, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all.
Let's go with our local non-financial advisor here, but kicking in some game and loans on 401ks.
Yeah,
have
with the cheaper interest.
rates. Yes.
Yeah.
And lots of banks. Plus, you're paying yourself back, which is very true indeed.
And then it's a big if you take the loan, if you have to take a loan, if.
Yeah, always intend to pay yourself back. There are actual what's it called? Like insurance that you could take out on yourself or your family that kind of do the same thing. But those, again, that's not this channel. But
no, go check it out. Go on YouTube. There's plenty of other channels that specifically talk about those. Please feel free to go to them. Do you have anything else you want to add before I go to the next topic?
Hell yeah, I got stuff I need to add on this.
Okay, man.
My mama is need to be listening to this right now.
I ain't got nothing to talk about. No sets.
Weak safety
got nothing
nets.
to do with me.
We talking about pensions that don't exist.
None of our elders, none of that.
Social security risks that ain't happening. Unlike many boomers, right? So that might be great grandma now. Gen X workers never had traditional pensions, or if they did, they were lucky, or they got phased out, and instead depend on the 401k, IRA savings, and Social Security mix. That's why you have to wait until a certain age to be able to take some of that stuff out. Concerns about possible Social Security cuts in 2030s and longer life expectancy. Why people trying to get killed off early, or unalived early, we're gonna say, all that kind of stuff. Tinfoil kufi on. Make their target nest egg larger, but their confidence way lower, because people are like, I used to need 1.5, now they're talking about 2, now they're talking about 2.5 to 3 in order to be comfortable to last into my deep 80s, early 90s.
It's gonna be 10 million, y'all. It's gonna be 10 million. You're gonna need.
When we talk about Zimbabwe,
only person gonna be able to retire comfortably gonna be Elon at this point.
He gonna be in Mars by then with a bionic suit on or something, breathing fish water.
Oh my gosh, he gonna be the only one to be able to afford it at this rate.
Damn.
Is that
All right.
the end of yours?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, I
done.
didn't know what you do. You was going. You ain't care nothing about what I was talking about. Okay, so
It's because this is something near and dear. Is people want to put all this effort into AI and all this kind of stuff when that is really. I'll just stop. We'll go ahead and keep going.
we'll go to the next thing. So if your IRA changes didn't stress you out, don't worry. The Senate said, hold my subpoena. They all they, as in those who serve us, do a great job of, I feel like, inserting themselves about things they should and should not be able to do. I'm trying to think if I want to have y'all do this one first. We'll do this first, and then I'll have the comment from we'll do this. All right, y'all ready?
Between
No.
Senate and House
There we go.
are as old as time, and it's not unusual for the Senate Majority Leader and the House Speaker to be at odds, even when they're in the same party. But what is unusual is making the rift public. That's what's taking place between Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson over several high-profile pieces of legislation. Capitol Hill correspondent Eric Rosales joins us with more. Eric.
Hey, good evening, Veronica. Folks, here's a question for you. Should U.S. senators be able to sue the U.S. government, or in this case, the Department of Justice, for up to $500,000 of your tax dollars if phone records were seized without their knowledge?
Hold on. Drop some dripping accounts before we go. Do y'all think that our tax dollars should help them be able to sue? Drop some drip.
Well, that was the provision that the U.S. Senate tucked into the recently passed government funding bill, which the president signed into law. House Speaker Mike Johnson publicly said that he and his colleagues were blindsided by the provision added at the last minute.
I was very angry about it. I was. And a lot of my members called me and said, did you know about it? We had no idea. That was dropped in at the last minute. And I did not appreciate that, nor did most of the House members. Many of them are very angry about that.
The Senate drafted the proposal after 8 senators learned their phone records were seized by the Biden-era Justice Department as part of its so-called Arctic Frost investigation into alleged efforts by allies of President Trump to overturn the 2020 election.
Okay, so before we get into that, so let's set the scene real quick. Some of them are upset because basically they probably feel like it's more like the Eighth Amendment, like search and seizure violation from their perspective. What makes me have to give you information that I'm doing like without me saying it's cool? You just gonna just do it. On the flip side of that, if you're using public servant tools to communicate with certain things, technically it's not your asset. Here's where I'm going with that. Hold on one second. If you have a company phone for your job, that's their phone. That's not your
their
phone.
phone. That's their service. That's their
That's
data.
their proprietary information. That's their data. Even if you're using your phone, when you install whatever app that they have, just put that little app on there. It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna do anything. It's fine. It's fine. It's actually monitoring you. It's able to sometimes connect to other apps that are actually in your phone, and they talk back and forth. Sometimes it can connect to the location. So if you tell your job, no, I'm just working remotely from my house, but you in Cancun, they know you in Cancun because your location services is on. They know you lying, Johnny. You in danger. You about to lose your job because they know you lying. And then they got the audacity to ask you, you sure you at the house? Yeah, wait a minute, I gotta go. My dog barking right now. Ain't no dog. You out there having drinks with the chicks out in Cancun. You out there chilling. So that's kind of where they're going with that, is that they feel that even if I am in Cancun chilling, this my phone. And it's still my privacy, and you pulling up just taking information, and you're wrong. On the flip side, technically, taxpayers could be like, that's not your phone. If you talk about, you do anything around the government on that asset,
Yeah, people be doing dumb shit on these phones, like or
Boy,
not on their
got plenty of
phone
fish
or
on
on
the
a
phone.
computer.
That's crazy. You doing
Yeah.
date naps?
They nap on the phone.
What you doing?
Tinder on the phone. Playing Halo on the computer. Downloading Steam on your computer. All kind like you just downloading games on the computer, dog. Like people used to do like the little stuff like solitaire, whatever. That used to come on Windows before they started taking all that stuff off. People just do all kind of weird stuff. Elder Scroll. That's what that Final Fantasy, like like you downloading the whole, what's that, MMO? Is that what that's called?
We talking about like the actual games,
The
like
Final
RPG?
Fantasy.
You talking about RPG
yeah,
game?
RPG. I don't do all that. You into that nerd stuff. But,
Gamer. Yeah. Yeah. So once you do that, like it's not your phone. It's like as soon as you install, and I'm gonna keep playing. As soon as you install something that you authenticate, meaning that you said it's me, yes, it's me, and I'm okay with putting this information out there. It's you, and you are subject to them looking at what you're doing. Do you need me to stop sharing so we can see something?
Oh no, no, you putting up what Joe saying.
Oh, and we are paying for their phones. That's my
said,
phone,
and we.
Mike Johnson. And that's my phone, Mike Johnson.
That's
Let me see your
mine.
apps. I'm gonna be like a little kid. You got any games on your phone?
Can I play some games on your phone?
That's them in the office going on Plenty of Fish.
Right, you need to be doing some damn work. You over here doing a triple click on a Tinder, trying to match up with as many people as you're talking about.
Ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna keep going, and then I'm gonna
you
switch
got
over.
you gonna travel for work coming on, so you trying to do two things at once.
So I'm gonna continue this, and then I'm gonna get to the comment that just had me cracking up.
So last night, the House voted unanimously to repeal the provision. The bill now heads back to the Senate. However, it will likely sit and rot in the Senate graveyard and go nowhere.
When it comes to allowing a federal government agency, the Justice Department in this case, to collect information, private information on individual senators, we think that's a violation of separation of powers under the Constitution. Obviously, Jack Smith violated the law in the way he went about that. This is something that needed to be addressed.
So that means the provision that was signed into law with the funding bill stays.
Everything House Republicans do is for show. They can't even get a commitment from Senate Republicans to take up legislation to remove this multi-million-dollar taxpayer-funded slush fund to benefit corrupt Republicans.
Even some Republicans whose phone records were targeted think having taxpayers foot the bill sets a bad precedent.
I'm all for accountability. I mean, I had my phone tapped, so I'm all for accountability. Don't get me wrong, but I think taking taxpayer money is not the way to do it. The way to do it is tough oversight.
But some Republicans say the government must pay.
That's right. He didn't have a chart.
Going to issue subpoenas in the future against private citizens to get their phone records without a court order. Without a warrant. Have to think twice. And if the government doesn't pay, you're going to get more of this. So the only way you're going to
how they going to think twice when it's not coming out their money? Come on now.
And the government pay.
Also this week, there was infighting over the release of the Epstein files. The House passed it unanimously, thinking that the Senate would make changes to protect victims' names from being released. But Leader Thune dismissed Speaker Johnson's push to amend the legislation and passed it without any new provisions.
That was beyond where I was going. That just took me back for a loop. Like, ooh, okay. So what y'all think? Drop some drip in the comments. Let me know. Do y'all think that it's our phone? Do you think that they have rights on those assets? Let us know. Yeah, your chicken costs $9 a pound, bruh. That's crazy. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're taking your money and they go on farmersdate.com. Like Kanye said.
What's in that cup?
Took your money. It took your money.
Still reserve in that cup.
No, like Kanye said. Don't play with me. Took your money and actually look like Michael with your money. There you go. So,
they're gonna use that and get that semaglutide.
oh, we're gonna talk about that in a minute too. We're gonna talk
Oh,
about
wow.
that too.
Okay.
So here is I gotta remember name. There's so many different people. This is make sure I get his name right. Uh Representative Jamie Raskin. He's a ranking member of the House Committee on the Judiciary. So this is what he had to say about it.
$1 billion jackpot provision is one of the most blatantly corrupt provisions for political self-dealing and plunder of public resources ever proposed in the United States Congress. And we're watching it happen in real time. You know, it was said that the Roman Senate was so corrupt, so drenched in bribery and private self-enrichment that the senators were actually as corrupt as Julius Caesar and as Caligula, the tyrannical maniac. I don't know if the Republicans in the Senate today are as corrupt as Donald Trump, but they're on the path and they're right behind him.
So I thought that was crazy. He just compared him to Julius Caesar, which is he did that. No, ain't no Mad Dog 2020 in this cup.
The orange or the purple? Which one? Which one you drink?
I've actually never had Mad Dog.
At that Wild Irish?
I've never had Wild Irish either, actually.
As I know you haven't because it's called Wild Irish Rose. Don't nobody else call it Wild Irish.
I've never had that. I specifically
That rock gut.
I used to like vodka pretty heavy. That was my thing.
Oh, that Walmart one was that Kamchaka.
Nah, man, I was a Ciroc girl, man. That was my thing. I was a Ciroc girl, pretty heavy back in the day.
You went to a Diddy party or two?
I did not go to a Diddy party. No, I did not.
See how
do
your
that.
face froze right there?
Nah, I never went to a Diddy party. I don't like New York City or Miami, so you never had to worry about that. But anyways,
Hey, don't be hating on our New York listeners.
no, I just it's
We
not
love-
for me.
we
Like
love
I
New
said,
York.
like I said before, I understand New York City. It's just not for me. Stand on the right, walk on the left. I get it. Miami, it's just not really my scene. You know, the whole like everybody's wearing stuff to get into a place that doesn't really matter. It's just not really it's not my thing. But okay, so y'all got
your
some
OnlyFans is still.
you know what? That's what we gonna wrap that part up. Drop some drip in the comments. Let me know if y'all agree, disagree. Do y'all think it was disrespectful to basically compare Trump to Julius Caesar? Because he kind of did that. Do y'all think that we should be having taxpayer dollars to run through people's phones and assets? Do you want, in some ways, it's kind of not no different than the Epstein files, kind of.
What you mean? The thing is this.
It's regardless of
if
the
I'm trying
assets
to
that
run
the people
up a
have.
bag,
So
then I'm gonna conspire with my people, and I'm gonna say, "Yo, I need all of y'all to tap my phone because I'm about to run up this money. I need to at least 100 different taps. So I'm gonna go ahead and go file that subpoena after I get tapped. I got tapped 200 times.
oh, son, you can get the money for it.
Oh, yeah, because it's free money. That's the difference. It's going to come out of a budget of whatever entity was doing the tapping. No,
And we don't even got no money to be giving. We give them negative money on negative money. Well, speaking of negative money, and speaking of people getting caught red-handed, let's go on to Russia. Talk about money. Let's talk about these Black Widows. Y'all heard about these Russian Black Widow scams?
no. What is this? You're gonna have to explain.
So,
what it is.
here I will share this. Here I got two of them. We'll do this one right here. I'll explain it for you.
Russia is seeing a growing market in fraudulent marriages as women seek multi-million ruble compensation paid to families of soldiers killed in Ukraine, creating an expanding cohort of so-called black widows, according to Militani. The trend has emerged against the backdrop of substantial state payouts for soldiers killed in the war. In March 2022, the Russian leader Vladimir Putin said families of service members killed in Ukraine would receive about $80,000 in federal insurance compensation, while wounded soldiers would get about $30,000. Foreign Policy reported that 40-year-old contract soldier Serhiy Kandozko married a local draft office employee shortly before deploying to Ukraine. After his death, she demanded state payments, but a court later annulled the marriage as fictitious and concluded it had been entered into to obtain compensation.
So allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, these women have been targeting soldiers to try to get the money from them after they've passed away or they're injured. And it's not new. It's not new. It's been happening
In
for their
Russia,
death benefits.
patriotic bloggers and
It's
the
more than
tabloid
once.
press are warning the country's soldiers about scams from so-called black widows, women who seduce and lure the men into marriage so they can collect their death benefits if they are killed fighting in Ukraine.
These are women putting out for soldiers.
That post from blogger Anastasia Kashivarova claims there are gangs of
So we can stop it from there, but we've been talking about how rough it is out there, right? And how hard people work for their money and so forth. It's already rough that soldiers are going out there to put their lives on the lines. It's pretty wild that basically they're calling it a gang and women are like, listen, we about to get to this bag. Drop some drip in the comments. Y'all ever heard of this Black Widow? I'm just bringing awareness to something that's apparently trending. Apparently it's trending that this is the thing. I don't know if historically it's always been something similar, but I think the reason why it's like considered a problem now is because, like you just put in there, like it's almost like how-to advice on to do this versus like maybe a group of sisters were going around doing like a Kardashian like thing, but now it's just literally we doing this.
It's like, how to get a baller, girl. It's the same thing. So like doing these fake or lightning fast war marriages, the women sometimes in organized groups target soldiers heading to Ukraine, pushing them into quick paper only unions, and they position themselves as a legal widow for huge government death benefits if the man gets killed. And some reports describe the women marrying multiple soldiers over time just to cycle through the payouts, treating war like an income stream. Yeah.
Joe said, use me, baby. He said, use me.
I'm dreaming. Yahoo.
He said, use me. He's like, you're telling me this and telling me that. You Barry White them, Joe?
I go off to war and never come back.
Yeah, but he just going back home. He just going back to the US. She gonna be trying to collect something she can't collect because Joe go back to the house.
Right. So these 6-figure payouts versus tiny penalties, right? So the state can pay the equivalent of around $150,000 to $200,000 or more to that designated widow, which is 15 to 20 times the average annual salary in parts of Russia. So somebody widely cited a case where a woman stood to collect about $200,000 after a soldier's death, but was ultimately fined $37 when the court called the marriage fraudulent, highlighting how minor the punishment is compared to the potential payoff. Yeah, I'm taking that bet if I'm her. Yeah, I can get
$200K or $37.
Yeah. 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 Sign me up, boss. Yeah.
Those are they own, but just keep your eyes out. And although we're talking about the Black Widows, I'm sure it's not just isolated to Russia. I'm sure it's happening around the world.
Well, I mean, that type of policy is there in particular. So I don't know if there's going to be something similar to that, because how many countries are in the active war to that magnitude, where you're getting those kind of payouts, where people essentially going into a meat grinder. Unfortunately.
My thing is this, like, as we keep talking about, we want people to be classy, have manners and so forth, also have some couth. And this is very far from that. This is the furthest thing from couth that I can, one of the furthest things from couth that I can think of, because it's not like you married someone that you met out of high school. He was like, I might as well, maybe we have kids. I'm sure if homie makes it through and gets out, like, you're gonna be the first one running to divorce. Are these older women or young women? I think it's younger ones from what I saw. Like, oh, y'all curious before I move on?
I don't know.
Search.
Old ladies be on social media for real.
No, just search. There is a main chick called the Black Widow that's giving tips, and she's like a whole thing online. So if you curious, just go ahead and check it out. You can check her out for yourself. So
don't put that in your algorithm, Joe. Don't do that. You're gonna have all kind of people hitting you up like, hello, Joe. It is I.
So
ordered bride.
If that story stressed you out, we got some great news. Scientists say you might be able to edit your dreams, and it's a little less terrifying, right? Maybe y'all think so, quite possibly. No. So there's a neuroscientist who's been doing some research on, if we put you in a dream state, can you control the actual dream? Let's take a look on it.
With a guy who's dreaming, you have them in a, we have found a way to speak with a guy who's dreaming. You have them in a sleep lab. You monitor his brain using an EEG. You can ascertain with certainty this guy now is in REM sleeping, and then once he's in REM, he becomes
aware of your dreams when you're dreaming.
Yes. So the chap is sleeping in a lucid dream, and you have certain codes, like Morse codes. You rehearse them. You have already prepared. You said, look, if you are clenching your left arm, move your eye to the left. If you're seeing this person over here, move your eye to the right 2 times.
Like the Matrix.
We have penetrated the impenetrable barrier between the dreaming person in a dreamland and a wakeful person, and we have access to somebody's dreams. We have found a way.
What y'all think? Scary? Not scary? Believe it? Don't believe it?
I think it's bullshit. That's what I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I would question this. Do you think that this is an opening potentially? I don't know nothing. I don't create things with, the ability to do dream state, and I'm like, I'm just throwing some out there. Do you think that this is opening a gate with everything with with AI and so forth to go into brains a little more? Not necessarily the response part of it, right? But to me, when things like this are put out there, it's kind of like I don't want to say a notice, but kind of a notice. And he seemed very excited. I believe he was a Harvard person who studied from Harvard. I can't remember if he was I think he was a neurologist, or maybe a neuroscientist. I'm sorry. Y'all don't find that strange? Y'all don't find that suspicious?
I find it suspicious that people be buying A's from Harvard, so I'm cool. It's plenty of other institutions that I would prefer, but that's just me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you sure told me. I'm just throwing it out there. I know we talk about tech a little bit. I'm just gonna touch on that real quick. We're gonna keep our eyes and ears open on that.
I mean, if you're talking about like nefarious things with AI entities, it could be our first foray into the Matrix. If we want to go there,
sure.
You put people in a halfway dream state, toss them into a vat, and use their body for energy.
Oh, that's perfect.
We're running out of.
Let's talk about this. That's perfect. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's hear what Elon got to say.
But what to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? Like a lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. If you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you, what's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless?
Mm. So I'm gonna let y'all just drip on that for a minute. Just drip on that. What I just showed you about your dream state access essentially to your brain, and the idea that y'all ain't gotta work no more. You ain't gotta work no more. It's cool. I ain't working no more. We got robots. The robots gonna do it. And by the way, so now since the robots are doing like, why are you here?
Tell me what it is that you do here again.
Why are you in my presence? What do you do?
What time did you clock in?
Clock in, ain't no clocking in. I have access to your brain. I'm gonna tell you what you think at that point. But I'm just saying, like, as we're doing these things with like, let's see how your brain works. And then you got trillionaire over here talking about y'all ain't gotta work no more. Y'all ain't gonna have to work. My robots, I mean the robots are gonna do everything for us. And it's gonna be a utopia of doing nothing. And by the way, when that happens, like, what's your meaning? Keep that in mind. As we go through Talk Techie to me throughout these series, like, keep that in mind, because that's somebody who's spearheading where we're going in the world. So, speaking of spearheading in the world, let's talk about Ozempic. Talking about big changes. No pun intended. I didn't
Big change.
didn't mean to say it like that. But big changes of not only is the drug affecting your mental state of how you feel about whatever it is, but it's affecting the economy. So let's listen in on that. I don't know if anybody's really talked about that.
It's a walk Sandra Sen never thought she would enjoy, but after taking weight loss medication with her husband for 5 months, every step feels like a small victory.
It's been a complete 180. So I've been really exhausted. When I would wake up, I'd be really tired. My son is a sports freak kid. Like, he just loves playing soccer and basketball, and I wouldn't at any stage be playing with him. I was just too tired.
Her weight held her back for years, she says, but now she has confidence, energy, and moments like this. She's also more productive at work, and her company is thriving.
I make quicker decisions in my business, so we're able to have quicker turnarounds, bigger growth.
She's buying less food too.
Shopping's gone from about 400 a week down to about the 150 to 200. Like, it's been a dramatic cut.
And spending more on travel.
I'm not afraid of summer coming in because I'm just so overweight. It's like you're hotter and you're just not looking forward to it, where we booked a holiday to Fiji at Christmas time, and I'm really looking forward to hitting the beach.
Hold on. Can we pause that for a second? She just said, I'm not trying to be funny, but
Well, who knows where she came from in how far her journey has been.
I wasn't laughing like by what she looked like. I was just
I'm not laughing at all.
I was just chuckling in a sense of like, when people hear my grocery bill went from $400 to $150, like, that to me is telling me about the amount of food you were buying. So she is probably eating less, but then maybe even the quality of food that you're buying too. That's a lot of money.
It can't be too much less because she has growing children.
Well, it's her and her
she was
husband.
taking stuff straight up out of
her and
is
her
her husband on it too?
Yes, they both
Oh,
are.
okay.
So between the two of them,
All right. His 4 burgers went down.
That's
to 2.
that's a
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a
Her
lot
5
of
burgers
money.
went down to 1.
That's a lot of money, y'all. But I will say, even though, and I keep this in mind as we watch this, just because you're getting weight loss, that doesn't mean the quality of food that you're consuming is necessarily better too, because I what if there was no more Wegovy? What happens to all these people using this because they actually didn't have good habits? They just were starving at that point.
Oh,
To
they all Big Sean around here. You know what I'm saying? Last night took a nail, but tonight it bounced back. Talking about all that weight.
yeah, it's gonna
Woman
bounce
bounced
back.
back.
Like, so that's my question on that is they didn't talk about the quality of food. Like, her food choices change, and I think that that's not deep dove into it more. And like, how did that affect financially? Because I would also assume that it would have still been more than 150. Because if you're getting quality of food, it typically costs more. But okay, we'll continue. Let me be quiet.
All thanks to the drug Wegovy, one of a growing number of GLP-1 medications designed specifically for weight loss. The popular brand Ozempic was originally designed for diabetes, but its off-label use has led to a flood of replicas hitting the weight loss market.
Let's say 20% of Australians end up taking these drugs. Well, simple maths will tell you that means to say that, roughly speaking, total calorie consumption in Australia will fall about 6%.
Citigroup health economist Adam Spielman has finished a big study in the US where about 7 million people take the drugs. He says the food industry here
Hold up,
will
pause
be
that
unevenly
real quick.
impacted, with fruit.
He says 7 million
My
people
dude went
taking
up them
Wegovy.
stairs like a cyborg. It was
But homie, he said 7 million people are taking it.
That's
That's
a lot of
people.
That's a lot of people that need it or really don't need it, or you know what I'm getting at. But that's a
trying to
lot
remember
of
how
people
much.
who are probably not taking it for non-vanity reasons.
If I'm
Because
correct, because it was what
is it out
214
of
million people in the United States. Is that what we saw last time,
no, it's more than 200 million
or was
people.
it three? It was
It's
300.
probably around 300,
It
probably
was
a little bit over
300.
300
Yeah, it
million.
was 330. I'm sorry, that's what it was. So over 2% of the U.S. population. That's not adults. That's not people whose heart can't do it. There's not people who are ineligible or don't need it. 2% of the population is using Wegovy, at least. Well, that's just Wegovy. I don't think that that's all the drugs.
Well, all the semaglutide.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah,
So,
there's different versions of it, and yeah, I've seen it. I've seen people trying to get it off of Groupon these days. Like it's ill. Yeah, you know it's up when it's on them kind of sites. You know it is up.
they said it ain't no bad money. I just see green.
Right,
Wait,
it's
green
gonna be
bean.
on hims and hers. They gonna,
It's crazy.
like I thought it was for hair. No, it's for everything. Everything, baby.
Everything,
Come and get
everything.
this.
All right, we're gonna keep it going.
And vegetable growers likely to benefit, while other businesses take a hit.
But if you're somebody like McDonald's or Burger King, it's a very different story.
Because weight loss medications are not listed on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme, it's tricky to figure out just how many Australians are using them. But ongoing countrywide shortages point to fast-growing demand.
I genuinely
they're using the
believe
pen
that these
there.
will probably become
And that
the
wrist real
most
thick,
prescribed
whoever
drugs
using
in
it right
Australia
there.
ever. Patents for semaglutide, which is Ozempic, that will end in Australia in 2031. And at that point, you'll start seeing generics coming in, generic semaglutide, which will be a lot cheaper, a lot more availability, a
way more
lot easier to get.
So looking all the way up.
And it's probably way cheaper
Some
there
businesses
anyway,
are
because the
already
U.S.
feeling the impact, like personal
pays the
trainer
most for
Lauren
prescriptions.
Antonenko.
You know, I've run into those people a couple of months later and they've lost heaps of weight. And they've, you know, very shyly said, oh, you know, I've been using a weight loss drug.
But it's been good business for 3D body scan firm Evolt, which tells customers just how much fat and muscle is on their body. GLP-1 drugs help people rapidly lose weight, which results in a large loss of muscle.
There has been a massive uplift with our business. I'd still believe they're a miracle drug.
Slightly more than 30% of Australian adults were classed as obese in 2022.
30%.
And while these drugs are a powerful tool to counter that, they're not cheap, with a month's supply of Wegovy costing $460. And for now,
That ain't
it has
bad
to be
compared to
taken
the
for life.
U.S.
The number of patients.
How much does it cost here?
Let me look that up because I could have swore it was.
Drop some drip in the comments. Y'all know
past
somebody
1,000.
taking that, and insurance sometimes I'm sure covers that too. But drop some drip in the comments. Y'all know somebody taking that semaglutide or any of that. But we can end that here if y'all are good with that. Because I have. Do I want to do the last one? We'll do this last one.
So I'm over here going through our AI handy dandy on. Yep, I already knew it. Yep. So the
How much
top
it
we
cost?
call them Western countries. So we already heard from Australia. So historically, the list price is around for the I'll do US last. So we'll go with the United Kingdom first. So
Okay.
the price for Wegovy is near $82.
Like a pen or like a month?
We will say per month because that's what it is.
Oh, okay. That's not bad at all.
The estimates is around $296 to $328.
Still cheaper than Australia.
Yeah. In Germany, between $137 to $328 per month,
Cheaper than Australia.
depending on the dose, right?
Mm.
Canada is around $265 per month for Wegovy based on
Which is
international
crazy
price
because they
comparison.
got the healthcare situation, so that's nuts. But whatever.
Yeah. As of 2025, Novo Nordics and partner programs are offering self-pay patients a direct cash price of about $349 per month, with some introductory offers at $199 for the first 2 months.
Oh, you don't want that on your record. Go ahead and
direct
hit 'em
cash.
direct. Yeah, you don't want that on your medical records. Mm.
But historically in the United States, it costs around $1,350 per month for a 28-day supply. $1,300. So
Hold on.
you tell me if
Oh.
the US isn't paying for everybody else's shit.
Oh, did you? How y'all? Well, I mean, okay. So hold on. I'm trying to make it make sense. So y'all took y'all's money from eating and transferred that to weight loss, so then you can propel yourself in other ways. Is how it sounds to me. I hope you do know, and it seems like most people do know though. You
Just do
still
it
got
out
to
of
get in the
pocket.
gym.
That's all
You
I'm
still
saying.
got to go to the gym.
You gonna do that?
Y'all still, and the gym.
Please go
costs
to the
in there
gym
too.
doing that. You're gonna be look like a deflated balloon out here.
Yeah, you still
don't
gotta
do
go
that
to the
yourself.
gym. So okay, that's insane. I did not know about the cost, but yeah, it's affecting
For
the
real.
economy.
For real, Joe.
Yeah,
You ain't lying.
it's affecting the economy. So here's my take on that before we get
That's
to our
too
last.
hard to do. Okay.
Here's my take on
Why
this
would I
before we
do
get
that?
before we get to the last thing. If you're going to do that, $1,300 is a lot of money. Invest in yourself to have a better lifestyle. Like I said about the food, like if you're gonna do that, then go ahead and start cooking you some real vegetables, get your real fruits. Like actually change your life if you're gonna do that. Like if you going to
If you're
McDonald's,
gonna do that, then just go. You could afford a chef at $1,300 a month.
but that still requires you to do physical work to lose the weight. Even if you had the food, you still have to do the effort and like really, you gotta really hit the gym. Like you gonna be doing them steps, you gonna be doing that lifting, you gonna be doing the red light therapies or cold plunges, and the rate that you get, like how quickly it happens. That's harder. I'm just, like people are not gonna do that. But my thing is, if you're gonna literally spend $1,300 a month, which is roughly $14,000 a year at minimum, then change your life, please. Actually change it. Because you don't get another one. You don't get another one. And there's a high chance that, let's say, whatever main component in there, they run out. You're screwed. Because you actually didn't change your life. You just shooting up.
I mean, but people
So
have also
change your life,
talked
please.
about different side effects that have come from use of these things. You got some big old calves too, right there. Some big old ham calves. Mm-hmm.
And there's we talked about one about the dry coochie. Like we talked about that. That was one of the side effects.
Well, that's because you don't get to pick where you lose fat from. So
There's like droopy, there's like what is it called? Ozempic face. There's a lot of stuff that's a potential side. But any drug or anything that you change hormonally to your body, there's a potential for a side effect. My thing is that, and then on the flip side, last thing I'm gonna add to this is they gave some real good tips on things that could be up and coming because of this. They talked about the body scanner. All of a sudden, my guy is rich because it ain't going nowhere. In Australia alone, they said the off brands ain't even hit until 2031. So to me, that's telling me that there's a certain market potentially from now to at least 2031, and it should from there, because all the people who couldn't afford that, what was it, 460, they're gonna be able to afford that 200. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got left on that. You got anything?
I mean, it might get to the point where certain governments might just buy that in bulk because it'll take away from certain instances of famine. If you only hungry every couple days, take these pills, people, or take these shots, because you won't be hungry for 2 days. You eat every 2 days and a little bit that you need to eat. It's not a recession. It's not depression. It's just semaglutide.
Speaking of no recession, no depression, let's talk about something beautifully unhinged. Because corporate culture is what we're going to wrap this up in. I want to get y'all thoughts on what y'all think about what she got to say. Oh, hold on. Let me take it off of mute. Y'all need to be able to hear the lady.
If you want to get ahead in your corporate job, I don't think that you should have a work bestie. Here's what I mean. So a lot of the times when we have a job that we're frustrated in, maybe you're not getting the raise you want, the promotion you want, maybe there's layoffs happening, it's the workplace is toxic, your boss sucks, you find someone and you connect on something and you agree on something inherently negative. We call it trauma bonding. It's so natural. Sometimes it's needed. It's the person you process with and you feel so good and comforted that you are not the only one going through insert negative thing. But here's the problem.
Okay. Drop some drip in the comments. Y'all got a work bestie? You ever had a work bestie? Let us know. If it's not a work bestie, maybe it's just somebody that you go to lunch with. Is there a person that you have or do basically talk stuff about the job with regularly? Not that one person that you hit them up on IM once every 3 months, like, yo, you still here? Not that. Someone you regularly go into.
So when something good happens for you, you leave that bunker of connection. And so I just listened to Brene Brown on the Diary of a CEO podcast, and she says that when we create connections with people in what she calls an ideological bunker, where you're in this, like, think about you're in the trenches with someone and you agree with them on the exact same thing. So in this case, a work bestie typically is things suck. Whenever good things start happening for you, you leave that bunker of connection, and Brene calls it a counterfeit connection.
Okay, so hold on. We using this in the workplace. I want y'all to think about this. Do you have actual friends that this applies to? Do you believe in what she's saying? Now, I do raise my eyebrow a bit that this is coming from CEOs, and it would also be in their best interest for you to not band together on certain things with other people to also align that things suck. It would be in their best interest.
Or sharing your pay. You know,
so keep in mind where the message coming from. I believe she's a CEO as well of whatever her company is. But let's continue.
Because as soon as you question, or as soon as your experience counters the very basis for why you're connected to someone, they might build resentment for you. They might not talk to you again. They might not know what's going on inside of them, but it might be bringing you stress. So if you're new to a job, or if you currently have someone and the only points of connection that you have are negative, do an audit of how and when and why you initiate conversation or you respond to them bidding for your connection. I'm not saying that you have to end ties, but just be mindful of when, where, why, and how you connect with people at work, and make sure that it's not rooted in inherently something negative.
What y'all think? Y'all agree? Disagree with this? I can see both sides of this. I can see both sides of this for sure. So I have been in spaces, and I would say if you have a work bestie of the same, I would say probably of the same gender, you're probably gonna run more into this more than not, especially if it's two women. Because, and especially two women or two people who have the exact same role, because we're talking about competition, right? Here's one side of it. One side is, I hate this job. So-and-so is trash. Now, y'all, you think y'all cool, but that you really don't know what type of time that other person's on. They could be hearing what you're talking about to then use that as leverage too, because I don't care where you work. If y'all got the same role, you are in competition and you are in danger when we talking about anything that can be automated. Because remember, it don't take both of you to do the job no more. So I'm not saying don't have friends, but I am saying that you have to look at relationships different moving forward. So I see what she's saying. On the flip side of that though, I will say I have been a work situation where they're not talking about me, but they felt comfortable enough, which I was surprised they felt comfortable enough to tell me this. But there was a coworker of mine who told me that they expect to get a promotion. And I was like, word, yeah. I mean, you do a good job, which is true. Like, you're really good at what you do. You've historically been great at what you've done. And I've known them for I had known them for some years at that point, even though we weren't necessarily on the same team until, at that point. And that coworker told me, yeah, we were in the office and I was talking to so-and-so who's newer and they're making $30,000 more than me. I will quit this. I said, whoa, I thought they were going to blow up the spot right then. I started shuffling my things. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was about to happen. So I don't know about y'all, but a 30K difference, some furniture might get moved around to some people.
I mean, why you gonna be hating on somebody else's pocket? You get
no, but then they continued and they said, I don't care that they're making X. I care that even in current state, even with the promotion, I can't even get close to what they make.
Again, you
above
get
that, and I do more than XYZ. Now, here's the thing. Now, you talked about the pay. Now, there's some of these jobs, there's tiers of people, right? And there's tiers of pay.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think, this is for my young people, my Gen Alpha, do not go into these jobs thinking that if I'm tier A, then I have a threshold that has to be hit, and then tier B automatically makes more than A. Shannon Sharp. That's not true. A lot of times tier A, let's say tier A is 0 to, we'll use 50,000. That doesn't mean that tier B starts at 50,000. Tier B could start at 30,000 and go to 60,000.
Those are called pay bands. What you talking about?
Tier C could be 35,000 to set. Like, you could be a tier C and make what a tier A is making.
There's
and then
different
when you
components that go into that though. Like, so let's talk about people who got GEDs versus people who got master's degrees that may be in the same space. Like, okay, go ahead.
All I'm saying, outside of the education piece on that, last.
Well, that's part of the component of why people get paid.
Last piece on that. When you come into a company, and this is the real tea, when you get hired, very rarely is someone going to say, oh, you're in tier A, you're only making 30,000. Now that you're tier C, I'm going to bump you up to the top tier of 80,000, which is where a lot of them are making. That don't happen. Usually, if you're at 30,000, they might hit you with the 40, then with the 50, and by the time you 20 years in, you might get to the 60. because you're being I'm just saying,
what
like, you're
happens
being
is, like,
promoted
they be getting
versus
bumped
you
up, and they be
coming.
like, "Oh man, I make 20,000 more than I just did for the same position." Nah, dog, you just started so low that they had
Correct.
to
That's where I
put you
was
in the
going with
next
that.
band
So
because
you're being
man,
promoted on those versus when you come in new somewhere, you can come in and get the bag. And that's why with the tech jobs that people were doing, and that's another reason why, let's keep this in our mind, these layoffs happen, is because if you jumped all of them jobs, remember, Jill been a tier A this whole time. She's still at that company. You didn't went ping, 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 ping. Now you a tier J. But you with Jill got the same skill sets. The difference is that you left and took your talents to South Beach and told them that my skills are worth more than staying here as Jill. And that is huge. And when that happened too, we got to keep, like I said, but these CEOs, right? Y'all making too much. There's too many of y'all doing all that. Lay them off. Now, we ain't got no jobs for you. Guess what? You and Jill got them same skill sets, but guess what? Jill's still there. Because Jill making that tier she was at. You want this job to work with Jill, you're gonna be pretty doggone close where Jill is. That's also kind of happening with some of this technology. So go ahead. That's my part with that.
Oh, you talking about resetting the market?
Potentially,
And
I'm just giving
it's
who's
not
giving
potentially.
that
I mean,
who's
that's
giving
really
that advice out here. I'm looking at y'all too, girl.
no.
That you
I
over here
mean,
giving this advice to about
with
work
all
messy.
of
You
the
don't want
fears
them
that are
talking about
happening
it.
across the job market, it is a reset that's happening. The thing is that it's very short-sighted because the resources swing back. People are just taking advantage of the quote-unquote AI that is supposedly replacing a lot of labor, which it isn't. It can't, not yet, not at all. But a lot of companies are just going with the skeleton crew at this point. The moment that the skeleton crew decides, I don't need this job. Like when it comes to a layoff, sometimes you shouldn't feel bad for the people that leave because they might have little packages. Feel sorry for the people that have to stay and
Pick up the
get
pieces.
everybody else's work loaded up on them, and they're constantly like, damn, like what am I gonna do? And then you look up, right? You done made it through all of that. 3 years later, you done made it through. Now you've been at the same company for 10 years. People that left probably came back, and they in different roles because they left, and now they get to come back or whatever, and you doing that same role, and all of a sudden you part of a layoff. You're like, well, damn, I done made it through this. Yeah, until you reach a certain threshold because these hoes ain't loyal. We know this. We know
Yeah,
this.
Orlando Minor always says these companies ain't loyal. He's very much right. Shout out to Orlando Minor. We got a YouTube channel. He talks about these quite often, these types of topics. But like I said, I just want to leave that for y'all to drip on. Sometimes it's not that the message is bad or who it comes from, but I also want y'all to just look at who that message is coming from. I see both sides of it. Yes, you typically are in competition with whoever you're talking to, right? And you also don't know what they may tell you one thing. That doesn't mean that they actually practice that. But on the flip side of that, girl, you got a CEO. Why should I listen to you? Y'all over here laying people off savagely, and you don't want people to talk about stuff too. So I'm looking at you too. I'm looking at y'all. So that's all I got that's my drip for the night. You got anything, Cash Pay, before we get up out of here?
Yeah. Again, you get what you negotiate when you join a company. You get what you negotiate. Always be okay with countering whenever you have a new job. Don't be so quick to just be like, yeah, cool. Counter. You gonna give me some or not? That's what you used to say. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. You gonna give me some or not? No? All right. Well, then I take this then. Take a little intimacy. But again, before I go into my sweet serenades, is that you get what you negotiate. And the next thing is when you counter, always counter with points on why you believe that what value you bring in order to enhance the company and whatnot. Sometimes you can negotiate other things. It's not just about pay. It's about other benefits. Sometimes it's going to be equity if the company is in private, or shoot, maybe it is. Sometimes it might be other things like extra PTO. That's still money. I count that in a whole package. If there's opportunities for credits, by credits I mean what is it, like where you
Like
go to school,
school?
or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
like to be able to get your schooling paid for.
yeah,
Also,
exactly.
I mean, like
That's money.
people
I count that too.
and working from home too, like the ability to be there for your family. Like that's
Right.
money too.
That's major, because that's money that you didn't have to spend driving into an office. So I would look at all of that as part of a holistic package where you would translate that into dollars. So if they're giving out $10,000 for school, what is it called when you get money back? I keep wanting to call it credits, but it's not credits. It's shoot. We in the comments, let me know what the name of it is.
Like a reimbursement?
Yeah, there you go. Like reimbursement type of thing. Like when you get you gotta get an A in order to get the money back and all of that. But dude, if that's the case and you keep recycling that money and you go to school $10,000 at a time, and that's how you can make it through scot-free on school. And guess what? You didn't have to pay for it, and you've enhanced your skill set. You've enhanced your value.
Yep.
Now, whether you become too big to poop in that pot at that spot, you've left with skills that you would not have had otherwise, or had the ability to pay in some cases. So it makes it worth it in spades versus not taking advantage of that, or being short-sighted, saying that I only wanted to get the money. Sometimes that tax-free money is way better. So that's all I got to say on that. I ain't gonna keep going on that. Just overall.
Yeah, there's other ways to get benefits to
Get that
exchange
money.
for money, basically. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, especially the remote work. I'm not gonna lie. I would never go in an office again if I don't have to. I'm okay going to a client. I get on a plane for a day, do a day trip. But me going in an office every day is terrible. I do not want to go. And I personally feel like it's kind of a waste of my time. Unless the only way it's not is when your whole squad is there. Your squad is there, people you work with there. It's like workshop level stuff, but that's not gonna happen all the time. But anyways, I digress. I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet about that. Oh, that's off a little bit. So that's all I got for y'all. This has been another episode of our Daily Drip Show. I am your solo host, Jim Jones, and rocking with me is Cassius Pay, doing the production pieces for us. If you have not hit that like button, do so. If you are not subscribed, do so. Make sure you share it with 2 people you like and someone you don't. I'm sure there's something that you can find here that you like. Drop some drip in the comments and check out our community page and make sure y'all vote on there, because then that tells you what kind of content that y'all like, want to see more of, content that you don't want to see. That's very much helpful. And once again, if y'all looking for a plain name, he should be back in about 2 weeks or so. He should be back dropping in and saying hey to everybody. So without further ado, thank you for rocking with me for a very long solo drip, our Daily Drip Show. Appreciate y'all. Be out of here. Have a great night and a great weekend.
Scroll the feed while the city sleeps. Stories run deep, but we sow what we reap. Jim's got the mic and Dame's got the flow. Late night drip with the glow we throw. Drip drops under neon sky. Breaking it down with no disguise. Join the fam, the squad is lit. Late night truths with the West Coast hit. Odd squads caught.